Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Lundus Instructs audio podcast. I am, of course, your host, Lundus01. I am so sorry there is no music today. The royalty-free music I've been using just doesn't want to work. So I tried to open it, but, I thought, if it doesn't work, might as well just continue the podcast without it. So that's fine. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, or tuning in, I guess. First, some quick announcements. This is going to come as some shocking news, but the Lundus Instructs audio podcast may be not disbanding, but put on hold. And a lot of you are probably freaking out right now, like, oh, no. But trust me when I say that this is not because you will not see me go away. So the Lundus Instructs audio podcast will be put on hold as of tomorrow. It actually depends on whenever what I'm talking about, what I'm about to talk about launches. But for the foreseeable future, it'll be put on hold. And this is all because right now, I'm sure that you are all aware that MSNBC, if you were a longtime AR person, you know that MSNBC was a huge, thing that was happening in AR, that it was very fun, exciting, and it got a lot of people in the group, but nowadays it's gone. It's not really, Michael Smith has moved on to other things, Parker Jackson has moved on to other things, so we know that it's no longer a presence in AR. So a lot of other corporations here are trying to fill the boots that MSNBC left, and they're pretty big ones to fill because, man, Michael Smith was a great editor, and that there was a lot of editing going on in MSNBC, and they had live broadcasts, and it was very fun. But U.S. News tried that a while back with their first episode that went horribly, and no one watched it, and I think they disbanded already. So a lot of people are sort of turning to my style of news, which is more low-key, laid-back, just presenting the news as it is, unscripted sort of thing, which, I take full credit for. But, so with that being said, CBS currently has a podcast in line called the Takeout Podcast that will be kind of a sort of NBC sort of news-based thing. But, it'll be just a podcast. I don't think it'll be live. It may be live. I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure on the details, but I'll be coming out as right now that I will be either hosting it or co-hosting it. I know I'm working with Egg Boiler on it, so expect that very soon. That is why I am putting a hold on the Lundus Instructs audio podcast, so I can focus on that, because that's, of course, going to be the main show. So you may be asking, so then, but why? But the Takeout Podcast, I'm going to design it very similar to this, where it's just factual evidence. It may be a little bit more professional. Of course, there's going to be a studio. There's going to be, I suppose, some sort of a script, but it'll be very generally the same as what this is. So don't worry that I'm still going to be rambling. I'm still going to be talking, but this sort of Lundus Instructs will be put on pause. Not. I don't like when companies say that, because whenever they're putting something on pause, it means they're done. But I am definitely not done with this. I'll definitely upload an episode every now and then if I want to appear sort of unbiased or not being, forced to say anything by a corporation. So if that time ever comes, I will definitely use this podcast to get my voice out. But for the foreseeable future, this will be the last podcast I upload, unfortunately. So with that being said, let's get straight into what's going on. This will be a shorter episode, of course, because nothing really is going on as of importance, but just public opinion seems to be a huge topic today in America. So let's go through this. So a few weeks back, or I guess a week back now, the new Speaker of the House, Chief Palpatine, he informally invited the President to make his second State of the Union address. I spoke about that 2 episodes ago. And that is, of course, going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. So if you have not you already cleared your schedule for that, I think that you should come and see it. Definitely, I don't have super high hopes, because the first one was sort of a disaster, but I hope that this time it'll be a little bit more fun. So hopefully you can come to that. If you don't, that's fine. But what is ACON going to talk about? I feel like it's just going to be more gibberish and more yada yada, and it's going to be just, it's just going to be this event to see what he has to say. It's just going to see how good of a speech maker he is, if he's a Bayan Filipino or if he's going to be something else, because Bayan, goddamn, that guy was horrible at speeches. But with that being said, moving on, right now a census was officially held by the LABC. I guess Armand Foley leads that, and it was pretty much a census, sort of like the DoCal Secretary 101358, whatever. It was just the one with a bunch of numbers that I always spoke highly of. Actually, some more news on that coming up. he made back then. He made a sort of census like saying, "Do you approve of this guy? Do you approve of this government official?" I was on that list. I think I got one of the only person on that list to get more approval rate. I guess more likes and dislikes. I'm not sure. I forgot, but that was pretty good. So, I guess that was a good way to tell for people like to get their voice out. It didn't really change much, but it was good for the people to see, or like the people in power to see that what they're doing was either not favorable to the population, or it wasn't. Like the people who elected you to serve, I guess did not. You should definitely listen to the people that elected you to serve. So that's the period there. So this census now, I should say, is an interesting census. I was contemplating of recording a video of me going through it, sort of like YouTubers do with like the political compass or something like that, but like just me taking the test and explaining every single question, which I always like doing that sort of thing, but I have a feeling it would be tedious, not only tedious but long, and some things I don't really have an explanation for choosing one way or the other, but I can run down a few of the highlights. There was a question that were definitely meant for, I guess, biased answers here. There was like the whole impeachment thing that happened, and looking back on that, I could see it was a clear grab for power, but yeah, so there was questions like that. There was questions on just not individual cabinet members or not individual representatives, unless you were like a super high-ranking cabinet member, super high-ranking representative, or super high-ranking judiciary. You would not be on the test. You'd just be on a scale of 1 to 10. How much do you like the president's cabinet? And then it would be a question about, do you like Akon artists? Do you approve of savory soup, or do you approve of sheave? Do you approve of egg boiler or whatever? So that's the way that was sort of formatted. If you haven't filled that out already, I believe it's in community alerts. It's in community alerts. So if you have not filled that out already, I suggest that you do. Just a good way to get some intel, I guess, for the administration of the group. There's also some questions there about group development, which I want to get into a little bit here. So this sort of census inspired me to talk a little bit about group development, about the game, because right now I see a big problem with the game, is that in Washington, D.C., I remember I always like logged on with whoever I could get on, and we'd always go down, like I guess a few buddies of mine, we'd go down and we get a gun, we commit some questionable things, but it was fun. There was like this whole gang thing. I think at one point there was just this whole like car buying system. Like people were active and people were on it. There was stuff to do. I feel like nowadays Los Angeles is turning into like, I don't know, just some stupid like place that people go every now and then for an event. It's like an event center that it's not supposed to be active when people aren't there. But when someone is there, like a speaker event, then people are there. But then they leave like 2 seconds after. So, it feels less like a city, like a thriving city like DC was, but more like just a place people go for server startups. Like, I feel like server startups are a good thing, but like it's pretty pointless. Like, I feel like if people just do not want to come and need to get a reminder to come, at that point in time, you've probably lost interest. So the way you get interest, group development, is by making stuff to do. It's not my job to tell you what that is, or what we can do that is unique to get people on. Sure, I could probably brainstorm some ideas, but that's really up for the people that are supposedly the top ranks of the group to figure out. That is their job to figure out. So that's my 2 cents on that issue. I think that we just need some more stuff to do in LA. Not only that, and just in AR. I mean, there's a lot of the cabinet right now is just working on overdrive. Like the Senate and the House is pretty much dead, and we're just here trying to pump out as new stuff as possible, like as much new stuff as possible, like the whole Department of Homeland Security and stuff like that. So, with that being said, I was talking about so here are some nominations I want to go over. Actually, only one in particular, which is the nomination of that former secretary of the DoCal. I believe I forget what his name is. I know it starts with a 1, but it's just a bunch of numbers. It's the guy that was DoCal secretary, saw a lot of jobs coming into the United States. Overall, great guy, and I think that the current DoCal secretary is questionable, but he is now officially back in government after the secretary of the state was kicked out because of, obviously, the secretary of the state almost got us kicked out of our new UN. So now that guy's in the Secretary of State. I guess he was nominated by the president. So great to see that guy again. I'm great to work with that guy because that was a good pick in my opinion. So, moving on, man. So, again this whole just whole whatever it's called, the shit, I'm losing it here. What's it called? The State of the Union, man. I'm not sure, really, I already said this, but I'm not sure really what it's going to be. There is just so much stuff that, I mean, there's like no stuff, I should say, there's like no stuff that can really be said here. So, moving on, I would like to talk about this for a second. So, the Department of Homeland Security just hired Daniel Privake, sort of talked about that yesterday, and apparently there's some stuff going on there that is disclosed, but apparently an exploratory committee for the President of the United States has been set up. We're still getting the details on that, but that's something to look into if you're interested. Definitely don't have enough time to talk about it in detail. So if you would like to find that out, then you can do that yourself. So here are some results that are trickling in actually a few minutes ago. The LABC official news broadcast is leaking some of the results here. So, actually, this was a few minutes after the thing went on, so only like a few people voted on it. But apparently, Bernard Caldwell has 80% approval so far as the group owner of AR. JSJSBSD has 50% approval and 50% disapproval in his official capacity as President Pro Tempore. Xi Palpatine is kind of on the ropes here. He's at a 56% approval rating, 43% disapprove. President Nate Connors is at an astounding 75% approval rating. And Savory Soup is dead even with 50% approval rating and a disapproval rating of 50% as well. So that's something to look out for there. So I guess we'll get official census numbers, official whatever, later on today. So with that being said, guys, there's nothing really else for me to talk about. Again, if you're interested in the Takeout podcast, and if you want to see me continue to hear my voice in this, definitely join that. So thank you so much for watching this episode of the Lundus Instructs audio podcast. I will see you all either on the Takeout podcast or another episode tomorrow. Depends. Thank you so much for watching.